Alright. Hello. What's up? It's Daisy. I'm still trying to code. As per usual, we're back at it again. Every day, even if it's just for a bit. Even if we don't accomplish much, as long as we keep showing up, that's the real goal. And so far, I've been doing splendid. Been doing splendidly with that. Yeah, I don't think we have too much stuff to do today. I just gotta finish that review and everything. But if I'm on a roll, I'm not feeling too tired right now. I know I always talk about how late it is. It is 2:25. I should try to get to bed soon-ish, but I don't know. I've been even without an alarm, I always wake up after 6 hours and I just can't get back to sleep. I try to sleep in, but I can't. So I'm not gonna give up on making my sleep better, but I don't know if just going to bed early is enough to make me get good sleep. Maybe it will. It might be the sun waking me up. But I don't know. Or just the world becoming less quiet. Maybe if I get to bed early, I'll I don't know. Well, we'll figure that out later. But I think I need to start spending more time coding. I wanna put more time and effort in. I'm putting plenty of effort in, but I gotta put more time in. But we don't have to do that today. But in the future, that is a short-term goal, which are the best kind of goals. The short-term goal is to do longer streams, longer videos, and get more coding done, get further in this certification course. I don't really need the certificate, but I want to finish at least this Python certification. After that, I kind of want to try out some of these other ones: responsive web design, JavaScript, front-end development libraries. Although, actually, once I'm done with this one, I kind of want to go in the archives and do those other Python courses that are older. But anyway, check out this Vincent van Gogh quote. "Great things are done by a series of small things brought together." I really like that. And I really like Vincent van Gogh. He's a swell guy. Anyway, yeah, Python certification. We just gotta do this review and do this quiz, and I want to get into some loops and sequences. If I start feeling sleepy, that's good. I gotta get to bed sooner rather than later, so we don't have to get into the loops and sequences, but I'd like to. Maybe build this pin extractor. I like that guitar. Forgot all about that. It was crazy loud when I tried to turn it up just a little bit. But maybe we can turn it up a tiny bit. It's not a great way to use my time, but that's why it's loud, is because it plays 30 of them at once. It's louder over here. When I did it earlier, when I was opening and closing, I think it was quiet, but now it's louder. Good grief. Okay, next time I'll do that off stream so that I don't need to have that in my video. But anyway, let's see. I thought the more you know, the more you realize you know nothing. Socrates. I like Socrates. He's the wisest of us. The wisest of them all. Alright. Introduction. Python's general purpose language for its simplicity, ease of use. Is this just everything we learned but over again? I think it's a perfectly good idea to go through all this, but still. Because it's used in data science, machine learning, web development, cybersecurity, automation, and microcomputers, like the Raspberry Pi and MicroPython compatible boards. Because I'm gonna have to scan this. I can't just reread every single thing, but it's gonna be difficult to know what I actually need to pay more attention to, the stuff I'm not so great at, and actually need some review. To declare a variable, you start with the variable name, followed by the assignment operator, and then the value. This can be a number, a string, boolean, etc. Yes, okay. That's something I probably could have skipped. Naming conventions. Variable names can only start with a letter or an underscore, not a number. You don't often see them starting with an underscore, but yeah. Variable names can only contain alphanumeric characters, and I don't usually see variables with numbers in them, at least not in Python. So that's interesting too. But I bet it's just not highly recommended. Yeah, a lot of variables also aren't capitalized. Maybe it's just harder to code. So age, and age are all considered unique. That would have helped me a lot when I was doing the RPG character thing. Would have been a lot easier to, because they immediately say not to use str to mean strength or int to mean intelligence. And I just took that to mean I should type out the entire word instead of abbreviating them, and then it turned out I could have just capitalized them. Anyway. And also I learned a painful lesson in having good variable names right from the start. Because the more and more you get into your code, the harder it is to fix later. And the more potential for bugs that you make by accident. But also just extra work that you gotta do. Okay. Can't be reserved keywords. Multiple are separated by underscores. Snake case. Single line comments. Multi-line strings. This is a multi-line string. Here's some code commented out. Oh, multi-line string. Oh. I forgot about that too. When I did the... So that's interesting. So I was talking about how when I was making the RPG thingy, it said that I had to make a string with multiple lines. And I knew from other tutorials that you do a \n to make multiple lines. But I was confused as to why they would have me do that, because they didn't show us in these tutorials. But now I'm realizing I had completely forgotten they did show us how to do that with using triple quotes. This review was actually a good idea. Maybe I shouldn't skim it too much. So this is what I think this was what they were expecting me to do for the RPG function. But I am glad I knew about the \n thing. But I'll try to keep stuff like this in mind. It's so easy to just forget things like this. But I mean, I don't see myself ever like fully memorizing everything in Python, but it's going to be a while before eventually you got to start to internalize some things. And that's probably something I should have kept in mind better. But it's going to be a long journey. But it'll be fun the whole time. Print function. To print data to the console, you can use the print function like this. Okay. Common data types. Dynamically typed like JavaScript, meaning you don't need to explicitly declare types for variables. It knows what type of variable is based on what you assign to it. Integer, a float, string, boolean, set. Okay, that's a set. This is a dictionary. Both sets and dictionaries have the curly brackets, but a dictionary has the colons also for key value pairs. Oh, they're not called curly brackets, they're called curly braces. Is braces the plural of bracket? Or is that just, like, if there's just one of these, is it called a curly brace? Are they two different names? I didn't even realize that. I always call them curly bracket, but maybe bracket is just the word for when it's like square, like those are called brackets and these are called braces. I'll look that up later. That's actually something I should probably know. An immutable ordered collection is a tuple. A tuple. I think it's tuple. Range. Oh man. I get tired every time I start doing this coding thing. I think I honestly think because that just happens. Sometimes I won't feel tired at all, and then when I try studying anything really, I'll suddenly just feel super tired and have a hard time focusing. So I think it's just learning makes my brain tired. I don't think that's like unique to me, but it's something I'm realizing now. Like whenever I use like Duolingo, I'll start getting all sleepy trying to learn languages. Well, other languages other than Python. Order of collection of elements that supports different data types. Oh, okay. List supports different data types. Well, that's interesting. So do tuples support different data types? It's weird that they specifically say that about a list, that it supports different data types. And they didn't, in these examples, they didn't show different data types. Well, I mean, except in this dictionary, they show strings and integers. But still, that's very odd that they said it right there. I keep criticizing these tutorials. Honestly, these tutorials are like fantastic, though. I shouldn't really have that much bad to say about them. Boy. Immutable types. These types cannot be changed once declared, although you can point their variables at something too, which is called reassignment. They include integer, float, complex, boolean, string, tuple, range, and none. Mutable types can change once declared. You can add, remove, or update their items. They include collection types such as list, set, and dictionary. To see the type of variable, you can use the type function. The type function has helped me way more than I thought it would. I thought that would just be like, you know, for little testing purposes to like check things here and there. And like print the type, like right here. This is kind of what I thought I'd be using it for, just for little checks. But turns out it is quite useful. Is instance. Oh, okay. Boy, I'm real sleepy now. Well, that's good. I mean, I should be getting to bed soon. Yeah. Next time I gotta do actual work. Strings are immutable. I mean, honestly, I'm gonna try to power through it and maybe do that one thing, the workshop that's just ahead of this part. Usually, I assumed I'd have like an easy time with this quiz, but I'm pretty tired. Maybe I won't have an easy time. But it's not like I can't retake it. There's no real stakes in the quiz. This is just like an online tutorial. Okay, strings are immutable. You can access characters. You can use a backslash if your string contains quotes like this, to like make them not count. String concatenation. That turned out to be more useful than I thought it would be. There's so many of these things that like when I've seen them in previous tutorials, I was like, I know this is useful, but I just can't imagine what I would use it for. And now I know. Now I've done it. I've like here and there actually used some of this stuff. Let's see. Use that. The plus equals operator. I think those were called, was it modified operators? F strings also very useful. Yeah. A lot of this stuff turned out way more useful than I thought it would be. I mean, that's to be expected, though. I didn't really know what I was getting into. I knew nothing of programming, except the things that I was memorizing from tutorials. It really comes down to you actually using these languages and actually doing some coding for you to figure out anything. Otherwise, none of this stuff sticks in your brain. You really need to like have an instance where you use it. I think that's part of like what helps you learn, helps your brain like retain information, is when you give your brain proof that something is actually useful to know. You can't just willpower yourself into memorizing things. This is short for formatted string laterals. Formatted string literals. This allows you to handle interpretation and do concatenation with compact and readable syntax. Oh boy. I keep getting sidetracked. Like, well, I mean, I guess that's what I'm doing here. I'm just talking a lot. It helps me. It makes this feel less like super like busy work. Oy. Good grief. It's every single time I feel motivated though to like actually do a lot of studying or a lot of learning that I suddenly just get so sleepy. Also, because it's usually I usually take melatonin right before. That might that probably has something to do with it. But yeah, I do just kind of like, or maybe my brain just has like been trained because I go to bed right after doing coding and right after doing these videos. I always go to bed right after, so maybe my brain just kind of like learns. It's a Pavlovian response. Yeah, okay, F strings are cool. What is this? Oh yeah, my name is developer. Okay, what is this? Is and you can extract portions. Here's the syntax. Start position is the index where it should begin. The stop is where it should end. Position is non-inclusive. The step position represents the interval to increment for the slicing. Here are examples. Oh my goodness, we gotta get through at least this and do that quiz. The len function is used to return the number of characters. The in operator, this returns a boolean that specifies whether the character codes exist. Oh. Part of me feels like that was something I needed. I know I did one of the labs where I had to do something similar to that, but I don't know if I actually remembered to use the in operator. Or I had to go find it in like a tutorial or in the documentation. This returns a string with all of them upper. This one's lower. This one strips the spaces. Yeah, removes the leading and trailing white space. This returns a new string with all occurrences of the old string replaced by a new one. Wait. Okay, wait. Yeah, I was thinking for a second, maybe that would be useful for some of those, for when I need to like change variables, but I don't think it would actually be useful for that. It's kind of just for some situation where I need one string to become another one. Split. This one uses a specific separator. Okay. That I imagine will randomly end up being useful. Join. Okay. I probably should be skimming through some of this stuff, except for things I really don't recognize. Yeah, because we're getting more into the things that I kind of remember. At least now I know if I'm really looking for like some syntax I can't find, I can just go to this basics review and kind of everything I need to know should be here. At least for the next few exercises or quizzes or whatever. And iterable, be looped over. Huh. Join string. Oh, okay. So it just takes a bunch of basically can take like a list and make it into a one big string. Okay. Starts with, and that's a Boolean one. Ends with, and false. Result equals developer dot ends with. Okay. See, these functions are, I think they're called methods when they are like the period one. Could be wrong about that. The terminology is really hard to get down. That's like the tough thing, because eventually you have to know it to be able to like identify things and figure out what these tutorials are even talking about. But like at the same time, it's hard to put a label on something when you can't even spot that thing. Like when you don't even understand a concept, you can't really label that concept because you don't know where to look for it. So you really have to understand the concepts, and then you learn the name behind them. Things like parameter and argument and like return and calling a function. That stuff used to confuse me, but I didn't start understanding it until I started like understanding the concepts. Okay, find. That's weird that it returns a -1. But all of this is weird. Find n. Oh, it gives the index. I was wondering why it returned 0. Oh, that's probably why it returns a -1. So that's still a little odd because -1 is an index. Like in the case of this, Naomi, -1 would be the I. So that's a little bit confusing. But again, I wonder if that's somehow useful. Like there's a reason it has to return -1, and that does something that helps programmers. Who knows? I certainly don't. Man, I really want to skip a lot of this and just go to the quiz, because I think I know this stuff. Because if I really need like actual review, I can come back to this. Is upper, capitalize, is lower, title. Oh, the first letter of each word. Okay, so capitalize is the first character capitalized and the other are lowercase. Oh, okay. So that's a little different than title. That's odd. Make trans. This method is to create a table of one-to-one mappings for translation. Oh yeah, we did need that before for the decoding thing. Oh man. Okay. Wait, so string make trans ABC 1 2 3. 9749. I don't really understand that part. Character mappings. What? Oh, so okay, you match ABC to 1 2 3, so that's why this comes out as 1 2 3 1 2 3. But I don't get why printing the translation table would make this. Oh shoot. Oh. But then I don't know. That one's weird. I don't think I'm supposed to just understand that already. Okay. Common operations for integers and floats. Yep, okay. So we did addition, subtraction. A lot of this is kind of just self-explanatory. Float division. Int division also comes out as a float. Without like causing an error or anything. That's one of those Python things, I think. Okay, adding a float and an integer always makes a float. Modulus is very helpful. Floor division. And floor division always rounds down. Wait, so 4, that'd be 48. But then 5 would be... Wait, what would 5 be? It'd be 60. Yeah, okay. So it comes out as 4. Exponents. We haven't had to use those yet, thankfully. I'll try to keep in mind that it's 2 asterisks, but... I don't know. Again, we can just come back to this page whenever I need actual review. I feel like that's what real coders do anyway. They don't have all this stuff memorized. They just go back and look in documentation or find it somewhere. Or someone else found a solution. You use theirs. But you learned something nonetheless. Okay, these all convert things. Round one to the nearest whole integer. Okay. Oh boy. Yeah, this one rounds up. Okay, the absolute value. Okay. Let's binary. Bin. It's used to convert an integer to its binary representation as a string. That's interesting that it's an integer specifically. But then again, I don't really know. I don't understand how, like, if letters also have their own binary. You'd think they would. Pretty much everything has binary. And how is this binary representation as a string? A B isn't... I understand that. A lot of the time I see binary and it's got letters in it. And I'm like, that's... Like, the binary by definition is just two things, right? I kind of understand binary, but I can't make sense of exactly why this is 56. Because it'd be 0, 0, 0. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway. Oh, like octal representation 0, 0, 7, 0. I wonder if that was on purpose. They made it like a salute in between two zeros. It's used to convert it to its hexadecimal representation. Why'd they choose 56 for all of these? They use such random stuff for all of these different examples, and these ones they were like 56, 56, 56. Raise it to the power of another, if you don't feel like using the two asterisks. Okay, PAL and ABS and oct and hex and bin. I'm gonna have to keep all this in mind. I bet it'll be on the quiz. Definition, augmented assignment. Oh, okay, augmented assignment. What did I call it before? Alternate assignment or something? I think I did say augmented assignment. Binary operation with an assignment in one step. Oh wait, yeah, I know this one. Could also be done with strings, which I didn't. Which I didn't know about. Oh, and with modulo. Modulus. And floor division. I mean, that's wild. And then when you're doing comparisons, you can do plus than equals or less than equals. But that's not an assignment. That's comparing two things. So that's a little confusing. I mean, I guess it's not really. I didn't even get confused until I just thought of it. What the heck? Bitwise operators? I have no idea. Oh, functions are reusable pieces of code that take input and return an output. Definition. During that. Yeah, function call, print result. If a function does not explicitly return a value, then the return value is none. Oh, print result. Oh yeah, because when you call the function, it just prints it, but doesn't return it. I can just... or could supply default values to parameters like this. Oh yeah, so if I just hit 3, it'll automatically make this one 2. But I think you can also reassign it if you do a comma and do something else for num_2. If you call the function without the correct number of arguments, you will get a type error. Alright. Alright, input. Oh boy. Okay, yeah. I'm sleepy. It's like 3 a.m. almost. So I should just try to finish this up, and I'll just promise myself to do more actual work tomorrow. This converts the local scope and closing scope. Okay, this will be hard to remember for the quiz, because I haven't exactly used this one too much. Oh my god. I got tears falling from my eyes from yawning. Got sleepy tears. Oh boy. Oh man. I got nothing, man. I gotta get this done. Global scope can be accessed anywhere. Enclosed is nested in another one. Wait, this is when a function that's nested inside another function can access the variables of the functions it's nested within. Oh yeah, this one can use message. Probably not the other way around. This one has local scope, I think. Oh, and then built-in scope. I mean, predefined stuff can just be used everywhere. Comparison equals, doesn't equal, greater than, less than, equal to or greater than, equal to and less than. If else is if elf and else statements. Elif. I just like to call them elf statements. I think that's funny. And Lord knows I need to entertain myself while doing this. I have a good time though. I like coding. I've been having a lot more fun coding recently, and I think it's just because I'm making these videos. It just makes it, I don't know. Maybe it's like keeping like a diary or like a journal. Like just being able to like speak my thoughts while I'm doing this just makes it feel good. Wonder if it's good for my brain. Because I've heard that journaling is good for your brain, but that can be for any number of reasons, and I don't know if I'm emulating that properly, if I'm getting the same effect by recording videos, but like, you know, it feels like it. Like I'm just venting. Oh. Like I'm venting and yawning. Venting air. Okay. If statements. Elif. Elif block runs only if all previous conditions evaluate to false and its own condition evaluates to true. Else clause. Well, that's interesting. So these are if statements, else statements, but then the else is called an else clause rather than an else statement. I don't think that'll be super helpful information to know, but that's very interesting. It'll run if no other conditions evaluate true. I like else statements. You could also use nested if statements like this. Oh boy. Okay, empty string. Space, I think, doesn't count as empty though. But there's no space there. Yeah. 0.00, the word false, and a nut. It's falsy. I like how they define what a truthy value is by defining what a falsy value is. And then they're like, truthy values are every other value other than falsy values. Other values like non-zero numbers and non-empty strings are truthy. Alright. Well, bool function, that was useful for me. Boolean operators and short circuiting. These special operators that let you combine multiple expressions. There are 3 and or not. And takes 2 operands and finishes, then returns the first operand if it's falsy. Otherwise, it returns the second operand. Oh man, I'm actually getting like crazy drowsy. Like I can barely think I didn't think I would just get so drowsy all of a sudden. Oh man. This operator takes 2 operands and returns the first operand if it is falsy. Otherwise it returns the second operand. Both operands must be... Are these called operands? The things in that? Oh. It's weird. Yeah, see, okay, now I see why I'm so confused. This is what I'm used to, using the AND operator in conditionals like this. Is citizen and age. But then over here, it's like this operator takes 2 operands and returns the first operand if it is falsy. Otherwise, it returns the second operand. So the first one isn't falsy, so it returns the second operand, which is also not falsy. Both operands must be truthy for an expression to result in a truthy value. Okay, so if this one was like a 0. Oh, holy moly. Oh, I'm so tired. Okay, this operand returns the first operand if it is truthy. Otherwise, it returns the second operand. At least one operand is truthy. So it just says age, or what the age is. It can be in conditionals. Yeah, I mainly know it for conditionals. I just can't even think about what these ones would be used for. Where it returns the first operand, and this one returns the first operand if it is truthy. That's gonna throw a wrench in my plans. There's gonna come a time when this and an OR operator, which is not used in a conditional, like used for one of these things, it's gonna turn out one time that this is exactly what I need to like make my code work right, and I'm not gonna even think about it. Like I won't even be able to remember this. And when I go back looking for an answer, I'm not gonna look into and OR operators that aren't being used in conditionals. Short-circuiting and or best notice short-circuit operators. I guess I should look into that. Short-circuit operators. It checks values from left to right and stops as soon as it determines the final result. This takes a single operand and inverts its Boolean value. Unlike the previous operators we looked at, not always returns true or false. Okay, and here's it in a conditional. If not, is admin. Alright, review, submit. Alright, let's do this code. How long is it? Oh my god. It's only 20 questions. Everyone knows that's my worst. Questions. Okay, we need to do 18 out of the 20. Okay, if it matches a specific type. If it's a specific one. Oh geez, I don't remember. Cause type, this one looks right because I know that type is how you check what type it is. But I feel like is instance is correct. If I got it immediately wrong, that will suck. But I am so tired. Okay, I gotta go to bed real quick. Okay, which of the following is not a form of string concatenation? Greetings plus developer. I think that is. This looks very wrong. Yeah, this is an F string, but with an X instead of the F. So it would have to be this. Yeah, this is correct. Yeah, that's correct. So it's this one. Which of the following functions is used to return the number of characters in the string? Len is counting. What will result be in this example? ends with N, it'd be false. Oh, what happens when you add a float and an integer? The result will be a float. Which of the following is correct way to define a function? Wrong, and it's this one. Which will be printed? Def greet pass print greet. It'll just say none, right? I mean, I can imagine it being like a type error or something, but I'm just gonna say none because I'm certain it just does nothing. Could be like a null though or something. Alright, which one is false when naming variables? That's true. That's true. That's false. That's true. It can only start with a letter or an underscore. That's interesting, so it can't start with a number, but it can start with those. Which following is not a supported data type? Generic. I've never heard of that. Which one makes them all uppercase? I think it's up, because is upper checks it. Which of the following is used to get input from a user as input? What will be the result for the following code? Print message 0 to 6. That would be, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it should be Pytho. Well, I know it's not is, and I know it's not fun. Or Py, so it's gotta be Python. What does the split method do? Wait, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, okay, yeah, so it's Python. Okay, split. That's not what it does. Nope. Split a string into a list of substrings. Which one will, what will the following do? I think it would connect them all into one string, but with a space in between. So it would be example dash name. This one is make trans. What will be the result of the following code? That's 4 to the power of 2. Which means 4 times 4. Right? Yeah. Okay, what will be returned from the find method if no substring occurrences are found? Yeah, I believe that's -1. I'm just thinking something returned a -1, and I remember mentioning that that's weird. And which one counts? Has count. Oh boy. Oh, Oh boy, it's either count or has count, but count sounds right. What does floor division? This rounds up? Nope. Rounds down to the nearest whole number. Which of the following functions is used to round a number to the wholest near integer? I think it's just round. Let's finish. Did I get a 100? Wait, oh, okay, we can check which ones we got wrong and right. I know I got at least one wrong. Probably the first one, honestly. They're all correct? Goodness gracious, there are a bunch of these I was not certain of. Like at all. Okay, I'm doing better than I thought. I think that's a pretty positive note to end on. I got a perfect score. Oh my goodness. 102 out of 102. We have got it, boys. Oh man. Okay, so now I just got a ton of stuff to read. I guess it'd be better to read it tomorrow when I'm all rested up and a bit less sleepy, and then after I get them done, I can do the pin extractor, and that will help me solidify some of the stuff that I read about, and then we can build a number pattern generator, and we're gonna get busy. We're gonna be doing all sorts of stuff in Python. I can't wait, because this one's just 31 steps, and then, man, I love this list. It just makes me excited to do stuff. Dictionaries and sets. That'll be fun. A user can, and then our first certification project, build a user configuration manager. I wonder how that works. Wait, let me click this. Hey, it's kind of just like the labs and the workshops. Good grief. This is basically like a big lab. This seems very complex, but this is cool. And then after that, error handling, classes and objects. And then we learn about objects, object-oriented programming, and encapsulation. Okay, well, hopefully that won't be as daunting when I get there. It'll all be stuff that I understand. Anyhow, time for me to get out of here. I gotta get to sleep. I need my beauty rest. See you soon. I'll be back tomorrow morning. Hopefully earlier. I really gotta start getting to bed earlier and just doing this programming earlier, but we're making good progress, one step at a time. But the great thing is made of a bunch of little things or something. Okay. Have a good one. Bye-bye.